You're not broken, you're just not aware. Yet there are moments in life when you look at yourself and quietly whisper, "Something's wrong with me." You can't explain it. You just feel it in the silence between your thoughts, in the weight that never seems to lift. Maybe you've achieved things, maybe you've tried to move forward, but there's this quiet ache inside that keeps saying, "You re not eno, you're broken." But here's what no one tells you: that feeling doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're waking up. Because the truth is, you were never broken. You are simply unaware of what you truly are, of what's been sleeping inside you. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And that's the silent tragedy of so many lives. Not that we are weak, not that we are broken, but that we re-unconscious of the power that's already within us. From the moment we're born, we're told who we should be. We're praised for fitting in, rewarded for following rules, and punished, silently or directly, for showing what makes us different. As we grow, we start to build walls around our real selves. We learn to hide our insecurities, our doubts, our anger, our sadness, the parts that make us human. And over time, we begin to confuse that mask with who we are. We call it growing up. But in truth, we're just getting better at pretending. Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But most of us never reach that point, because we never believe in ourselves deeply enough to conceive something great. We've been programmed not by nature, but being nurtured to believe we are limited. And so, when life becomes hard, when we stumble or fail, our mind says, "See? I told you, you're not enough." But think about this for a moment. What if that feeling of brokenness isn't a flaw, but a signal? What if it's not your end, but the beginning of your awakening? Carl Jung called this process individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming who you truly are, by integrating the parts of yourself you've denied. And according to him, the pain you feel when you think you're broken is the tension between who you pretend to be and who you really are. Now here's the paradox. The very emotions you're trying to escape are the keys to your transformation. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star." That chaos, the confusion, the anger, the sadness, is not your enemy. It's life itself, trying to evolve through you. But because we've been conditioned to fear pain, we run from Italiano. We label it as weakness, as failure, as proof that we're damaged. Yet Viktor Frankl, the man who survived the concentration camps and wrote Man's Search for Meaning, discovered something extraordinary, that even in the worst possible conditions, humans can find purpose, meaning, and dignity. He wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." And that's the secret no one tells you. It's not the world that breaks you. It's the belief that you're broken that keeps you from rising. So, how do you awaken this awareness? How do you move from feeling broken to feeling alive? The first step is honesty. Radical, terrifying honesty with yourself. You must be willing to face the parts of you that you've buried. The anger you never expressed, the fear you never acknowledged, the dreams you abandoned because someone told you they were impossible. Carl Jung believed that every person carries a shadow, the hidden side of our psyche that holds the emotions and desires we reject. But here's what he also discovered. The more we deny our shadow, the stronger it becomes. So, instead of running from your darkness, sit with it. Ask what it's trying to tell you. Because awareness isn't about fixing yourself. It's about seeing yourself. Alan Watts once said, "You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. You are not a mistake. You are an unfolding." A process of awareness, discovering itself through the illusion of imperfection. But let's go deeper. If awareness is the key, why do so few people find it? Because awareness threatens the world we've built around comfort. When you become aware, you start to question your job, your relationships, your habits, your beliefs. You start to see that much of what you thought was you was never truly yours. Napoleon Hill talked about this in terms of autosuggestion, the idea that our minds are constantly programmed by what we hear, repeat, and believe. He warned that most people live by mass thought habits, unconscious patterns passed down by society, and unless you break those patterns, you remain asleep. A dreamer lost in someone else's dream. So think about this. What if your brokenness is simply your mind rebelling against that dream? What if the sadness, the anxiety, the disconnection is your inner self trying to wake you up? You're not malfunctioning. You're awakening. This is where transformation begins, when you stop fighting against yourself. You see, most people try to fix their lives from the outside, new habits, new goals, new achievements, but if your inner world remains in conflict, nothing truly changes. Carl Jung called this inner integration. It means aligning your conscious mind with the deeper, unconscious forces within you, the parts that have been ignored, judged, or exiled. Friedrich Nietzsche described this process as becoming who you are. He believed that true strength comes not from perfection, but from embracing the chaos within and turning it into creation. And Viktor Frankl added a crucial truth, that the human spirit is capable of turning suffering into meaning, if we face it consciously. So when you feel broken, don't ask, "What's wrong with me?" Ask, "What part of me is asking to be seen?" That's awareness. That's growth. At some point in life, there comes a quiet moment when you realize that everything you've been chasing was never about success or money or validation. It was about wholeness, about feeling complete within yourself. And here's what no one tells you. You can't fill an inner void with outer achievement. Napoleon Hill taught that success begins in the mind. Carl Jung taught that freedom begins in awareness. Viktor Frankl taught that meaning begins in suffering. Friedrich Nietzsche taught that creation begins in chaos. Each of them, in their own way, was pointing toward the same truth, that the human spirit is never broken. It only forgets what it is. So, if you feel lost right now, remember this. You are standing at the edge of something sacred. Every struggle you've endured, every pain you've survived, every doubt you've carried, they're not signs of weakness. They are evidence of life, trying to express itself through you. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And maybe that's all awareness really is, the moment you stop seeing yourself as a problem to fix and start seeing yourself as a possibility to unfold. You are not broken. You are becoming aware. And that awareness, that simple act of seeing, is the beginning of your power. So the next time you feel broken, don't fight it. Listen, because life is trying to awaken you. Friedrich Nietzsche believed that all growth begins with destruction, that before the phoenix can rise, it must burn. Before you can become who you truly are, the illusion of who you thought you were must fall apart. That falling apart is not your end. It's your beginning. You are not broken. You are awakening, and one day, you will look back on this moment. The moment you thought everything was lost, and realize it was the moment you finally started to become you. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to Becoming You, and keep growing with us. And if you watched until the end, comment the word rebirth, because that's what awareness truly is. The rebirth of who you were always meant to be.